Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this episode of Rank the Movies. We're here. We've made it to the end of Bondathon. We've got one Bond movie left to talk about, and that is my favorite Daniel Craig Bond film, which is Skyfall. Now, unfortunately, the only way I have Skyfall is literally in this Bond box set that I have. Obviously, it was never released on VHS, so I can't, hold up a VHS tape for Danny Craig. But yeah, so Daniel Craig in Skyfall. I gotta admit, I wasn't a huge Daniel Craig fan when he was cast in Casino Royale. I didn't rush out to go see it. It didn't interest me that much. Quantum of Solace didn't help. I did eventually watch those movies right before I watched Skyfall for the first time. He's a good actor. I like Daniel Craig as an actor. I'm not sure how I feel about him as Bond. I don't know, it's just such... I get it, because of Austin Powers, they had to switch up the motif of Bond and the attitude of Bond. But, at some point, that kind of stuff can become detrimental to a character as iconic and historic as Bond. Because, again, you're talking about a man who's done 24 films, his 25th film. It's coming out later this year. So you're talking about a character that's got a lot of depth and has grown. Bond has grown as a character. But there are some things, and I think Daniel Craig was given a much more serious Bond, a darker Bond, which is kind of what Timothy Dalton wanted to do, but they didn't want him to do it then. So I get it. I see those elements. I don't know. I'm not a huge Daniel Craig Bond guy. Skyfall is... It's good. It's better than Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. It's better than Spectre. I don't think it's that, awesome of a movie. Everyone, went nuts about it, saying, oh, this is as good as The Dark Knight. And I'm like, I really like The Dark Knight. I don't care for this. This was not a darker reimagining. It wasn't a darker tone. It was weird, as I was watching it, and I'm pretty sure there was a good 10 minutes I completely zoned out, and I did not miss anything. This is a 2.5-hour movie. You should not be able to zone out for that long in a movie, any movie, I don't care what, and come back in and not have missed a single beat of what was going on. You should be a little confused. But no, I zoned out, and Bond was in, I zoned out. Bond met Q, got his gadgets, which was a gun and a radio. I saw that, then I zoned out, and then him and Moneypenny were in the casino. And I know he did the chase with the guy through the glass and the neon, and I know that happened because I zoned out, but I could still, I know that happened, but I didn't need any of it. It's immediately, oh, Bond's got a chip that I guess was that assassin's. Okay, whatever, I'm good, I'm gone, I'm good. That could have been shortened. I feel like this movie was 2.5 hours because they wanted a 2.5-hour movie, not because, they had this great concept and they wanted it to be 2.5 hours long. That's kind of how I feel about it. Is that it was just a forced 2.5 hours. It was a fine plot. The plot itself, I have no problem with. I actually kind of like it. Harkening back to GoldenEye, which there's a lot. There's a lot of comparisons I can make between this one and GoldenEye. Because, again, you have a disgraced MI6 agent who is trying to take revenge. Whereas Trevelyan was trying to take it on England. He is trying to take it... Celiac? I can't remember the dude's name, and I literally just finished watching Skyfall. I can't remember his, the villain's name from that movie, and yeah, okay. He's going directly after M. I think the movie, he's got some great plots, blowing up the old MI6 headquarters, to draw them into the underground, so he can confront M one last time before he kills her, and then he has his escape, which is very well planned. I think those set pieces work amazingly, and those bits pulled me into the film, and then everything in between the brilliant plan and plot kind of just pull you away. And the actor who plays the villain, Victor Bardem, he He's a good actor. I like him. His hair. Oh man, that like kind of bleach blondie kind of hair. He was rocking at this movie. Man, that was distracting. I'm just sitting there looking at that going, is that a wig? That's totally a wig. That's definitely a wig. That's a wig. It's a wig. That's a wig. Stop showing me him with the wig. Like, it was distracting. His hair was distracting. And if you, honestly, this review, I'm like really focusing on the last 90 minutes of this movie because the first hour is mostly pointless. Because it's all set up for the last 90 minutes, but I don't know we needed 60 of them to get there. Like, you've got the dude who stole, I'm going to use the Mission Impossible term, the knock list. Haven't actually done a review of Mission Impossible. I might have to one day. But he basically stole a knock list, and it got lost, and then we skip who the hell knows how far into the future before it's relevant again. Bond gets shot and goes into hiding. He's declared dead, so a decent amount of time has to have passed, like at least a couple of weeks. And it's all the setup to get M out so they can blow up MI6 and start that domino in motion. And then it's Bond trying to follow the breadcrumbs to get to the dude on his island. And I'm just really sitting there for that first hour going, why? Why could this not have been 20 minutes of a movie? Like, you could have told that in the first 20 minutes of this movie, and then had an hour, and then still told the same hour and a half after that. Because that last hour and a half is, I think, the part everyone loves. I think that's the part people like about this movie, but they keep forgetting there's 60 minutes before you get there. And again, it's not even great world building. It's just stuff is happening. You know, Moneypenny's gonna shave Bond. Meeting Q for the first time is cool, except he isn't giving Bond anything. It's like we've had a Bond who for 2 movies now hasn't needed to be handed gadgets. And now we have a Bond, we finally have a Q to give him gadgets, and what does he give him? A gun and a radio! Like, I get it. It's a different world now, and what Q's purpose isn't that, but they set him up to be introduced in that capacity, in the gadget giver capacity, not the cyber hacky nerd capacity, which is what the character is inevitably meant to do. They should have just set him up in that capacity right away, had Bond walk into the basement of MI6 and just meet Q in the giant, glass computer structure and have, Q analyze something for him. That would have been perfectly fine, and it would have set Q up on the path they wanted to take him, not the path that, Desmond Llewellyn had done for all these other frickin' films. And that would have been fine. But again, they made a choice, and I don't agree with that choice. Like I said, it's the first hour of Skyfall, I think, is what really drives this movie down for me. Again, if it was a half an hour, if they had cut that in half, if they had made that a half an hour, the first half hour of the movie, I think Skyfall would have been a much better movie. I'll even say maybe they could have went 40 minutes with it. But they could have lost some of it. They could have lost some of that first hour, and still had a very well-made movie. I do really think that the movie would have been I would have thought much higher of the film, had it just, that first hour, just been restructured. Because again, the latter hour and a half, it moves really well. It's a good moving hour and a half. That first hour drags, man. That first hour drags so bad. Once Sylvan is captured, then boom, we got a great movie here. Everything before that, it's just get to the point and give him realistic looking hair. So Skyfall, it's the first hour. I hate the first hour. Another GoldenEye connection is where this is the beginning of Judi Dench. I'm now talking about the end of Judi Dench's time in the Bond series, because this is her final role in the Bond movies as M. This is, the end of it. This is the end for her. Overall, like I said, I think it's really weird, the Moneypenny reveal. I think I thought it the first time I watched this movie, and I thought it again, that Bond works with her on the opening assignment where the knock list gets stolen, and then he gets shot off the train by her. She's now shot him, and he's presumed dead. She then runs into him at MI6 to tell him that because she shot him, she is now on desk duty and is not an active agent. Then she goes to give information to Bond in his hotel in, I can't remember what country it is. And then she shaves him, and he attempts to seduce her, and you're not really clear how that seduction went. And then at the end of the movie, he finally goes, "We've never been introduced." He literally tried to seduce a woman without ever knowing her name. Which is fine. Like, if it was Sean Connery, who cares? George Lazenby, he did one movie. He kind of knew her name before he tried. He knew most of their names. Roger Moore, he never cared. His Bond never cared about names. Dalton, he was iffy. Brosnan, he got names most of the time. Craig is the Bond who is not the womanizer, and he is trying to seduce a woman whose name he doesn't even know. Who shot him, by the way? Who shot him? So I thought that was weird, that it was just, like, if he had just called her Eve, like, I'm not even sure he called her Eve. He might have. I could be on a tangent that doesn't exist, and he does actually call her Eve and doesn't know her last name. But it seemed like a weird reveal. Like, oh, Eve Moneypenny. Oh, it's Moneypenny! Apparently, we need all the Bond characters now, moving forward, now that, Daniel Craig's done 2 movies. Now he needs a Moneypenny, and he needs a Q. Yeah, we gotta do that. That's, oh my lord. Again, I like the plot of this movie. I think it's a very interesting concept for a Bond film. I enjoyed that part of it. There are just other things, little things I didn't like about this movie that just really stuck into me, and it lowered it in my expectations. So Skyfall, it's not bad. It is, again, it's the best Daniel Craig movie to date. It is the best one he's made. So that's good. That's good. So definitely check it out if for some reason you've watched it. If you're like me and you weren't 100% sure on Daniel Craig, Skyfall's a good one. Casino Royale's not awful. Spectre's decent. And Quantum of Solace is just, it's the shortest Bond movie there is, so you just live with that. Alright, so I mentioned last week, I have a weird tangent, and I didn't want to just dump it on Skyfall, although Skyfall bothered me with it, but I've been bothered by it in a couple of the other Bond films. So, this is I'm done with Skyfall. We're done talking Skyfall. I'm going to talk Bond for a second here. Where do these people get all these damn henchmen from? Like, seriously! Like, okay, using Skyfall, because that's the movie I'm talking about this week, the dude, I'm not going to try to say his name again, because I probably got it right once and said it wrong 8 times already. Dude has, like, a mini army working for him. Like, where do you find these people? Do you pick them up outside of, like, a military depot or something? Like, is this like picking up the handyman at Home Depot? Like, hey, get in the truck, I need 6 guys to help storm Skyfall. Like, and I wondered, like, in GoldenEye, the Yanis Corporation has an army. It's an army, the Yanis Group. Again, where do you find all these guys? Where do you find all these guys? At least when you get to, you know what? Let's look at the Living Daylights. The Living Daylights. That's a dude who literally has a personal army. Again, he has a personal army. I'd buy that one a little more, because at least it's a personal army. It's actually an army. But I'm still not fully, like, sold on the idea that he got these people. Moonraker, where the crap does Drax get that many people? Like, perfect specimens who can also shoot guns. Man, you got a great deal on people. We move on. Here, we got Spectre. I accept. Spectre is a criminal organization that's supposed to be large and, like, many tentacled in many areas. Them having a bunch of goons, I get. Goldfinger, on the other hand, I guess he's got gold. And people like gold, they like money, so I guess he bought them. But do the rest of them have money? Do they all have money? Is every freaking person with a buttload of money has to go evil and try to steal or kill or do something evil to people, or they're not allowed to keep their money, and they gotta hire goons. Also, what kind of package does a goon get? Like, what do you get? Like health? Do you get dental? Do you get like life insurance? Because if you're not getting life insurance and you're going up against James Bond, let me tell you, you got a bad deal. So it's a general critic. Like, where do these people keep coming from? Especially in a universe that all of this stuff is supposed to have happened in. Why do they keep going to these people? Like, when you could just go back to Dr. No and find all his henchmen died. And then just move forward to every villain and find out the hench life. Like, that's why I like the TV show The Venture Brothers, because it talks about the hench life. And like, like some of them were just abducted. I accept that argument, but it doesn't quite make all of the sense in the world in the Bond universe. So yeah, I got really annoyed by where do they keep getting these henchmen from? How does every henchman have a small army? Or why does every villain have a small army that Bond can kill? Other than the plot demands it. Alright, tangent over. Like I said, I didn't put that directly on Skyfall. Skyfall has it, but so does every other Bond movie I've covered in the last couple of weeks. So, that one is not directly like, haha, screw you, Skyfall! That one is just like, why? It's not just Bond movies, it's superhero movies, it's a lot of stuff. So, I'm not gonna rank the Bonds by my favorite movie and the order of Bond, because I feel like their best work is how you decide if they're the best Bond. So I'm gonna move my box set, and since I don't have one to fill in for Skyfall, I'm actually going to use the World Is Not Enough case I had out. I'm just going to turn it around. So this is Skyfall. It's going to get confusing quick. So, let's lay them out. We've got Sean Connery. We've got George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. So who goes at the end of this list? Who is the worst James Bond? Who gets this nice little spot right over here in front of my Transformers lunchbox? That's going to be George Lazenby. I'm sorry. This was such a poorly written movie, and the fact that he has nothing to balance that out with, it's hard. It's hard not to put him at the end. Because it is. It is hard. He has nothing to balance it out with, and it's a weak movie. So George Lazenby gets 6th place. In 5th place, I'm actually going to go with Roger Moore. I think Moore's movies get really campy, and although they're fun and entertaining, they're not as well made as some of the other Bonds. So Moore, you get 5th place. In 4th place, I'm putting Daniel Craig. I do like his more realistic take on Bond. And although I really crapped on Skyfall and Quantum of Solace is kind of garbage, his movies, his performance in them is always solid. And I think that gives him just a one-up on Roger Moore. And I think Moore, by the end, by those last couple of movies, he just was no longer right for the role of James Bond. In 3rd place, Timothy Dalton. I mean, honestly, I was surprised. I expected Dalton to finish lower, but he is such a good actor, and he is such a good Bond, and he brings so much to that series. The Living Daylights is a really good Bond film. License to Kill is a Bond film, but Timothy Dalton is strong in both of them, and he is just a spot-on Bond. Goldfinger, Sean Connery, that's going to be my number 2. Is Sean Connery, the original James Bond. He's the standard. He's the one who set the standard. And I do like Connery's work in his Bond films, and he does a great job. Meaning, number 1 is Pierce Brosnan. Like, GoldenEye is my favorite Bond movie. It's one of my favorite movies. So, it's hard not to put Brosnan on top because, well, he's in GoldenEye. And I like World Is Not Enough as much as people do crap on that one. I like World Is Not Enough. Die Another Day is fun. It's not great, but it's fun. And I need to rewatch Tomorrow Never Dies, just because I haven't watched it in many years. So anyway, that is my Bond ranking. We got Lazenby, Moore, Craig, Dalton, Connery, and then Brosnan in 1st place. Alright, so that's it. We are finally done with the Bondathon. There is no more Bond in the Bondathon. You know what? No, I just remembered there's these 2 other movies. They're called Casino Royale, starring Peter Sellers and Woody Allen and Orson Welles. And then you have Never Say Never Again, starring Sean Connery. Those are technically Bond films, but they're not actual Bond films. They're only technical Bond films. And alright, Bondathon isn't over yet. Next week, I'm going to talk about Casino Royale and Never Say Never Again. I'm going to do them both in one episode. So tune in as we hopefully finish Bondathon. And then we'll move on to other things. But next week we'll do the comedic version of Casino Royale and the non-canon Never Say Never Again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of that video and every other video I'm going to be doing in the future. Otherwise, I am Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies. Have a good one.